And it's the DBT deck giving us some words of wisdom. What's the DBT deck? This one right here. Not a sponsorship, just something I use to practice. And that's what I'm going to do today on episode number 180. So if you got a lot of problems, you got a lot of thoughts and issues, welcome to the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 180. This is filled with tips, ideas, call to actions, brief exercises. These cards will be a daily go-to as you learn. Needed to enjoy the ups, the downs, and navigate the downs in the real world life. And best yet, because skills take repeated practice, you cannot outgrow this deck. You can only grow with coping skills, acceptance strategies, self-soothing practices, emotion regulations, and relationship effectiveness. If this sounds like you and you want to hang on tight, hang on tight. We're going to go shuffling through this deck. Why am I doing this today? Because I have no fucking idea what to talk about today. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about, but I have nothing in particular that I really want to get into yet, because I don't want to just talk to talk. Right. I don't want to just get into this to just get into this, because there's a lot of emotions that I've been going through. And obviously, if you saw the last one, it wasn't a nice one. It caused a lot of attention. Thank you so much. It's not, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. Right. I think that people reach out to me to check on me, that I'm okay, to reach out to my wife to make sure she's okay, because there's a lot of words that I used in the last episode. There's a lot of thought patterns that were very familiar if you knew me back when we started this podcast. And it felt that way. I'm not going to lie. But what I have been working on is that I have been practicing using these cards. So that's why I guess I do want to do it. I guess it's kind of why it's helped me cope. It helped me find some direction. But I think the most important thing that I'm going to talk next time. So if you haven't or not part of the channel, please subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to talk about the whole letting go, the whole giving up, the whole surrendering to something. And a lot of times we don't know what that something is. But we all do know that there's a thing in our life that just feels super heavy. And when it becomes overwhelming, when it becomes, I don't know, another word for super heavy, well, then I think there's a way that we have to kind of just surrender to it and let it go. Whether it's this, that, or another thing. So that'll be next time, because I don't want to get into it, and I don't want to talk too much about that, because it's for next time, right? And like I said, if you're not on the channel, subscribe now. Hit that little notification button, whatever fuck that means. So we're going to go to DBT deck card. Oh, here's a perfect one for me. So this one's called Dealing with Distraction. So what I'm going to do is a little game. I'm going to read the card the best of the ability that I can. Just so you know, if you're new, I'm a terrible reader. So I will do my best, especially live, to read this little. I'll read this well. Is that the word we use? Deal with distractions. Distractions are ever present. Do not get frustrated with distractions, for they are simply a reminder to go back to what you are doing. And dealing with them is a natural part of practicing mindfulness. When you drift or get distracted, simply bring yourself back to the present moment again and again and again, because distractions are simply part of the world. Really good one. And I actually pulled this one last week, because when I meditate, and if you do or do not meditate, it doesn't mean you're going to fucking go look at that screen over there, the floating coloring clouds, and then think about Buddha the entire time. That's what everyone thinks meditation is. But sometimes in a world, we just need to be silent. And I am a very, very bad case of proof with that, because I don't like the silence. Right? I don't know if you're like me, but I wear AirPods and I will play music when I'm bored, or I will listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to something, and I will fill my brain with as much information as I can, because I feel like I'm being stupid, or I feel like I'm getting dumber. So I have to make sure I input information and input information and input information. If you sound like that, that is me. We also need to be quiet. We need to get rid of the distractions. We need to shut our phones off. We need to go on walks where all you hear are chirping birds, dogs barking, people taking a piss. I'm not sure. But going out there without anything besides the task at hand. And I think that's a great one, especially dealing with distractions, because we can get distracted in anything we do, right? But the more we practice quieting the noise or dealing with the silence, the better we're going to get at it, right? And for me, perfect example is like I say, I can't do this. No, I can do it. I'm meditating. Oh my god, I could do this instead. I should be doing this instead. Why don't I get up and make the eggs and then I can clean something? Maybe while I'll clean and then I'll listen. If that sounds like your brain, well then you're in the same boat, right? When I meditate now, I just understand that I'm not there for anything, right? I just have a goal, and that becomes a distraction too, right? Just to if something goes in through your mind, you just go back to the thing. And for me, I will listen to binaural beats, right? I'm not that good at meditating. So I like using binaural beats where it's something, I think this thing on YouTube right now you see in the background as I'm using background is that it'll have some megahertz sound. And whenever you fall into a meditation, you're going to drift away and start thinking about something. But that noise is the center point. It'll keep bringing. I'll have to bring myself back to that sound. And then in like 30 seconds, I'm going somewhere else. And then I got to keep going back to that sound. And it sounds frustrating, but at the end of the day, it's not. Because now it's like 20 minutes later, and I'm there with myself, being with myself, sitting in the quiet or the beats, and doing my best to kind of eliminate distractions and keep going back to the one thing that it is I'm trying to focus on. And with that, you become better, right? It helps you in everyday life when you do find yourself distracted or you do find yourself overwhelmed. You go back to like, what's the reason why? What's my reason I'm here? Like, why do I feel, things, something, I don't know. I'm not a meditative master. If you are, comment down below and maybe we'll have you on the podcast because obviously I need help with some meditation, but I still do it regardless if I'm good at it or not. All right. I want you to pick a card. All right, here we go. Ready? Ready. This is your job. Pick card, any card. Pick point. Okay, this one? Okay, good. Perfect. Thanks. The DBT deck. Practice a Teflon mind. Teflon. Oh, Teflon, the pan shit. Non-stick pans. Practice having a Teflon mind today. Oh, Miss Guzzi. Do not react to potential stressful situations, criticisms, or anything else that may stick to you and cause needless suffering. Instead, let these experiences slide right through your awareness like water off a duck's back. I never knew a duck had oily skin. I never knew that. Oh, duck oil. I don't know. Whatever. So Teflon mind. So that means if someone, I'm doing this a lot today. If someone says something or comments or something you read sticks to you, right? It's like, "Ooh, you have did this wrong today. And now it's just going to bother you the entire day. Have the mind to be like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm out. Like this, as much as it's probably still going to bother you and you're going to ruminate and think about that thought the entire time. Because if you like me, it's going to hang, right? And it's going to make you feel like shit. And we have to, I don't want to say surrender to it, but yeah, like just give it up. Like it's not worth the pain it's gonna cause. It's not even worth the thought, And I think it's pretty cool because the Teflon mind, like just let that Teflon Don. I don't know what that means, but someone's called that. But you don't react to it, right? You don't make something that's so negative or something that may just cause harm throughout your day affect your day or affect you as a person. If it's a comment, it's a comment. Fuck them. Leave it alone. You know? And you can even say that, but fuck you. I'm out. I don't want to talk about you. I don't want to listen to your shit no more. Does that make sense? Because that's kind of how like I like to feel when they say stuff like that. Like if someone says something that's like, I don't know, it's some form of criticism, right? Some form of criticism that I'm sure we're all gonna get at some point in our life, and just allow it to wash away. And it's going back to the what you know is true. Right. And that's just like even the other one. It kind of does move into this one, dealing with distractions, right? Because it's just like, phew, it's just a thought. It's just someone's opinion. Like, who fucking, if it's not completely true and real, and now it's going to make you feel guilty, you can he's a piece of shit because he cheats on his wife. Well, if it's true, then you got a fucking problem, right? Like, then I don't know, then maybe you got to move to the next card and figure it out. But if it's something that's like, she, I don't know, I have nothing. I have nothing to say bad about someone. So Teflon Don, wash that shit away. Don't let it stick. Let it move on. Boom, card number 2. Vision. Ooh, this looks pretty cool. Vision. Seek out what is pleasing to the sense. Look at or create art or photographs. Take it. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I got it. Got it. It wasn't really, it was just telling you what to do. Seek out what is pleasing to the sense. Seeing. Look at or create art or photographs. Be creative. Take in the sights of nature or the cityscape or whatever relaxes you visually. For a few minutes today, simply look at something pleasant, perhaps something as simple as a vase, it's a fancy word for vase, of flowers or a plant, fully connecting with it and taking it in. Got it. One mindfully. So that's a very one mindfully uh, type thing. Vision. I didn't understand they actually meant vision. I thought they meant envision, right? Like you're thinking or moving into things. But yeah, it's a form of one mindfully where you kind of just focus on one thing and be mindful of that thing. So something that's calming, something that's cool. You can stare at that TV. I keep referencing the TV because I'm really happy about those clouds all day. I really like that. You fucking turn it off. Oh, there they go. And just something to watch, right? Something to keep your mind straight. Again, avoiding distractions. So maybe going outside and looking at a flower or a bush, or you ever people watch? People watch is fun, but sometimes people watching is too distracting because there's so much going on, especially in New York City. Not that I live there anymore, but I used to love. Anyone, if you loved going to New York City and people watch, please comment down below and tell me what street, what bench, where were you at? Because maybe we're next to each other at one point. I truly loved people watching. So I feel like that would be too much of a distraction, though. So maybe heading out, taking a walk, going to a park, and from afar watching people from the top of a hill or from a far bench where no one is going to bother you or no one's going to talk to you. Right, looking at some landscape like a river or waterfall or grass, or here, right, some fucking rocks. There's lots of rocks here in Las Vegas, or a cactus. But getting away and finding something visually calming will help you become calm as well, right? Because if we keep intaking like things and keep moving into things that we're just adding input, like I always do, you're kind of just flooding the brain. Instead, just take moments, and I feel like that's the one thing that helps reduce anxiety is really learn to take deep breaths and finding one thing to focus on so your mind doesn't have to focus on everything else all at the same time. So vision is actually something that was really good once I understood the meaning of that card. That was you know what the fuck that was. 4 tips. No, it's not a game. Here we go. Oh, dear, I don't want to do Dear Man. Dear Man is complicated. Dear Man's like a letter. It's a lot of writing. I don't want to write. We'll talk about Dear Man another. Okay, this one seems right. I wonder if these things are color coded. This one's green. I'm sure. You know what I usually you should do is read directions. Oh, and as you speak, the gods have answered. It's a welcome card. Never read it, by the way. Yeah. Green are dialectics. Pink is mindfulness. That makes sense. They all sound the same. The stress tolerance is purple. Emotional regulation is blue. Interpersonal effectiveness is red. I may have read this before, but I definitely don't remember. So here we are. And these are the rules. Okay, that's cool. Now I know more about it. This is a really cool deck. Well, the more, see what I mean? Like it never ends. It's not a deck that I ever stop. It's just something that I kind of go back to now and then. Here we go. This one is a dialectic. Make gradual changes. If you know what dialectic means, please comment because I have no idea what it means. None. Yeah, I know. I have a mental mobility jello. I told you I'm not a therapist. I just fucking do what they tell me. I don't pay attention either, obviously. So what's a dialectic? If you know, comment down below. Let me know dialectic. Changes are more often gradual than dramatic. Think of a problem you have. What behaviors would other people notice you from doing if your problem were less severe or even resolved? Let me read that again. What behavior would other people notice you doing if your problem were less severe or even resolved? Start practicing those behaviors to kickstart the change process. Thank God there's an example because I still don't understand what this means. Some examples of this include going for a daily walk if you're depressed, initiating conversations if you have social anxiety, and or reaching out to family and friends if you are isolated. Opposite action. Okay, whew, thank God. So Ah, that made me nervous. Opposite action. That's a good one right here, right? And changes are more gradual than dramatic. Think of a problem you have. So a perfect example is start practicing those behaviors to kickstart the change process. Like if you're depressed, go outside and go for a walk. I say it all the time, right? I know you're depressed. You want to stay inside your house. You don't want to do shit. You want to lay down, sulk, go on Instagram, and just fucking waste your life away because that's what you're going to do when you're depressed. That's what I do when I get depressed too. We just keep fucking scrolling, right? Instead, why not just go for a walk? I do that too, right? I like to go for walks. I like to get out, exercise, do something, not because I want to, but because I have to, right? And that's the difference. That's where real strength is doing something you actually don't want to do, but you need to do. Like we need to do it. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. Right? It doesn't have to be a big, crazy, big step, like it said, like a big change. Just make a gradual change. If you're really feeling down, do your best to go try and take a walk. Do you have to walk outside? No, you can walk around your house. Walk in your room and pace. Clean. Do something that moves your body, right? Because that little bit of a movement will make a gradual, big difference. So now you know the more you feel depressed and the more you start to feel out of it. We all kind of know when depression's going to hit. Get out, do something, get out of there. If you have social anxiety and you're scared, like you literally don't want to talk to people, do your best to at least try to someone that you might like, someone that you might know. And I understand that. Like, there's times I just want to hide from motherfuckers. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody, but just do it. Right. And that's true strength. Like, I believe that's really true strength. Doing something that's the hard thing, even for something that may be super small to you. That opposite action is one thing that will definitely make your day a little bit easier. I'm not gonna say better, right? Because I know what it feels like when you're depressed. I know what it feels like when I'm depressed. I know what it feels like when I'm socially anxious or even don't even want to talk to someone. I don't want to go to a party. I don't want to go to a party. Make conversations. Hey, how's it going? What do you do? What are you doing? It's so fun. Yes, I know. We did this and then we did this. It's so fun. I know. It's such a great time. But we do need to communicate with people, right? We do have to be social ish, right? We do have to have maybe it was just social with the wrong people. Maybe there's some people that you just want to talk. There's some people that I want to talk to, right? But then there's days that it's scary to talk. So I get it, but try. Right? If there's one thing that you can do today is at least try. There goes again. My tisks. Tisk. Green. Dialectic again. What is dialectics? I forget. Be flexible. We cause a lot of needless misery for ourselves by being too rigid in our thoughts and feelings. Oh, here we go. While we do not want to go to the other extreme, there is a lot to be said for learning to be flexible and to go with the flow. Learn to consider other perspectives and practice being more flexible with situations, moving with realities rather than trying to impose your will on everything. People who learn to bend do not break. Be flexible. Be like water. Bruce Lee. Be water. Like it's pretty fairly understandably simple. Is that instead of keeping it always your way, your way, your way, why not be like make it someone else's way for a day? We can get very rigid, and we all know we called. If you're A type like me, that's what they always say. If you're A type, if you're A type, your asshole's too tight. Right? That's what they say. That's what I heard. But learn to not be an A type. Maybe be a little bit more flexible. And if you're married, you probably already are. And if you have a hard time doing that, well, then you're probably getting divorced soon because that's probably the biggest example I can say, right? We have to be flexible. Do you think I agree with anything she says? I do. But do you think I want to be? No, right? There's a lot of things that I wish I can do, but I can't because I have to understand the other person's, and I say she by my wife, right? Obviously, my wife. And we have to be flexible. And I'm sure she doesn't agree with half the things that I say in my mouth, right? But she copes as well. And there has to be that even ground to where, no, my way's not my way and her way's not her way. We have our way, right? And together is what makes it work the best. We don't want to only be on her side. I don't want to only be on my side. Because if I was only on my side, we would no longer be here no more. We'd probably be dead, right? Pretty simple. I would run this place to the ground with so many ideas. No, we wouldn't be dead, but we'd be in trouble. And if it was only her side, we'd be too tight that we wouldn't even do anything anywhere. We wouldn't go anywhere and do anything fun. Only fun things that are on Instagram or something like that. I don't even know where I was going with that. I'm just saying, like, we have to understand that we got to dance, right? We got to dance with each other. We have to dance with other people once in a while. And sometimes let it loose. Like, don't let yourself and your ways be the only way. That's going to cause a lot of anxiety, right? A lot of pain within yourself, especially if someone says no, but you don't know how to handle that. Man, you're in fucking trouble. So why not try being more flexible? Why not be wata, as Bruce Lee would say? So those are going to be the cards I'm going to say today. If you enjoyed this, please let me know because I kind of enjoyed it. I love this impromptu type podcast where I really had nothing much that I really wanted to talk about. But I'm glad my fucking programming here is working. I'm glad all these things are working today. And if it sounds a little weird or it's a little bit, something like 16-bit, let me know because we have a lot of problems visually with this program. But if not, thank you for coming out. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys later for the next one in the Mental Motivated Podcast. This is Pete. I'll see you later. Till next time, go Jack.